Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. We're tracking several severe thunderstorms here this evening as it has been a wild day of severe weather. We have multiple areas we're going to be covering, but mostly the Midwest through today's live stream. So I appreciate everybody joining me here this evening. We're going to break down what we can expect and just kind of go over some of the warnings with live radar analysis this evening. So thank you for joining once again. Make sure you guys press that like button down below on the way in, as well as subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell as well. So thanks everybody for joining. Again, spread the word as well if you have any social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, anything like that, Facebook. Definitely post this live stream link on there as we are having some dangerous weather. We have two tornado warnings ongoing here this evening. We got one up here just into southwest. Actually, both of these are in southwestern Iowa near the Red Oak area and down toward Nebraska City, just north of Hamburg. Right now, this storm is pushing just to the north and east along this line, and we have a couple of kinks in this line we're watching for some spin up tornadoes. So let's go quickly over to the storm relative velocity. And right now, I'm concerned about this rotation again tightening up a little bit just to the east of Nebraska City. And I'm going to kind of circle this right here so you guys can see that. So you can see right here where the reds and greens come together, just east of Nebraska City and north of Hamburg. That is currently where we have some at least broad rotation with this storm as it pushes off to the east northeast here. So this will be moving toward the Riverton area. So if you are in Riverton, Iowa, this is southwestern Iowa, just east of I-29. Please take shelter, get in your safe spot. Definitely have a potential tornadic thunderstorm moving in your direction. This storm is also capable of producing some ping pong ball size hail that could, in its own right, produce damage to roof, siding, and trees. So, definitely, and even your vehicles as well. So, you definitely want to be mindful of that. Again, I appreciate everybody joining me here this evening. I apologize. I didn't go live earlier on when the severe weather did start, but we are live now, and we have lots of severe weather to talk about here this evening. So be sure on your way in, press that like button. It's the thumbs up button down below the live stream, and hit the notification bell as well so you get notified for future live streams and videos. And subscribe to the channel as well. Might as well while you are helping out and supporting. So I appreciate it. Hello, Linda and Timothy, Michelle. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate it. We got another tornado warned storm up here. This is near Red Oak. A little bit more of a Titan signature here. Both of these tornadoes are just radar indicated right now, but you see this is pushing off to the east, so this will be moving towards Highway 71 with time. Just looking at the velocity scans here, and let's kind of go over this real quick. Let's go back down to the southern storm here, just to the east of Nebraska City, and you can see back to the past radar scans, you can see the velocity really starting to tighten up here, and then you can see the brighter greens and the brighter reds trying to come together there between Riverton and Hamburg, and then as this is pushing over the Riverton area, it kind of broadened out again. There's kind of almost a double circulation trying to develop here, one up there near the Riverton, Iowa area, and one down toward Hamburg. So we'll continue to watch that there. There could be some, a couple of areas of rotation with this storm as it pushes off toward the east. So again, going back to the past radar scans, we had that broad rotation over Nebraska City. As it pushed to the east, we saw it kind of shearing out a little bit, and then we had the tightening up of the rotation, and now it's kind of a little bit more broad right now. So that is kind of what we're seeing going through the Riverton area. So if you are in Riverton, Iowa, this is just east of Nebraska City, north and east of Hamburg, Iowa. This is southwestern Iowa we're talking about. Be in your safe shelter, whether it's a storm shelter itself, a basement, or the lowest, most interior room of your home. Definitely helps out with these types of storms, especially since we are getting towards dusk and shortly thereafter now. So definitely very helpful. Is Florence, Alabama okay? Yeah, I'm not worried about Alabama. All the main severe weather threat this evening will be and overnight will be in the Midwest. There could be some sporadic severe weather into the Tennessee and Ohio river valleys, as well as northwest Texas. But the most persistent, widespread, and intense severe weather will be residing up in the Midwest. So places like eastern Nebraska, and I'll get rid of this real quick and go back to the main radar here. These are the areas really lighting up from Des Moines back down through Lincoln, Nebraska here in northeastern Kansas. Those are the areas I'm most concerned about. We have some severe weather ongoing into western Illinois that did push out of Iowa earlier on. But other than that, I think mainly the Midwest is the area I'm going to be concerned about moving forward through tonight. Sure, you could see some severe weather down here. We'll move down towards portions there of Texas. I'll turn on the Dallas radar real quick. You can see some storms off to the west there, Wichita Falls down to Abilene. And then we got some more storms over here toward Middle Tennessee with some severe warnings. Those are just mainly 60-mile-per-hour winds and also some quarter-size hail for the most part. We got a severe storm in western Kentucky, but the main area I'm concerned about is up here near the warm front into portions of right now southwestern Iowa, as well as southeastern Nebraska. That's the area we're watching for explosive thunderstorm development here this evening. And you can see, I'll put the radar loop on for you guys to see this. All of these storms are pushing out of southeast Nebraska and eventually into south central Iowa. So if you are in Des Moines, if you are into the Creston area, Clarinda over here toward Leon, definitely the I-35 corridor, I-29. Yeah, you guys are going to be seeing very, very noisy night tonight moving forward. So just be sure to have multiple ways to receive warnings. You guys can also rely on me here on YouTube to get you guys the warnings you need, especially when these tornado warnings do pop up. While there's so many severe thunderstorm warnings, I can't go over every single one of them for you, but just know that these are probably producing some big hail. We'll go up here first toward the northern side of this line, first and foremost, north of Creston, toward the Greenfield area. This storm is capable of 60-mile-per-hour winds and ping-pong ball-size hail there. Back farther to the west, we're watching another storm kind of going through a little bit of a cell merger right now just to the north and west of Creston, also producing a quarter to half inch hail there, or a quarter to half dollar size hail rather, and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts there. We also do have a severe thunderstorm warning near the Red Oak area, just to the north of Vasilla. Those areas, quarter to half dollar size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That's pretty much the theme of what we're going to see going into the evening hours here and overnight, are the big hailers. And I do apologize. We are actually experiencing thunderstorms here in northern Illinois where I live. So if you guys hear any background noise from thunder outside, I do apologize. It is definitely thundering outside. So that is what is happening. So you may hear that from time to time tonight. Again, I'm from northern Illinois, so I'm experiencing my own severe storms, thunderstorms in general. So that is what you're hearing. What time should Kansas City expect storms? The Kansas City area right now is pretty far removed from any severe thunderstorms or really any storms in general here. There's the Kansas City area down here to the south. Right here, you got Topeka and the Manhattan, Kansas area. We'll time this out here in just a moment, but I would imagine just a few hours out. And to be quite honest with you, I think the strongest of the severe weather will be in northern Missouri rather than down here into west central Missouri toward Kansas City, right near and just south of the warm front. So the area here, I'll zoom it out for you guys to show you where the warm front is for the most part. Basically, if you're along and south of I-80 here in Iowa and Illinois, that's basically where the warm front is laying out. So if you're south of this, it's very unstable. We got dew points in the 50s and 60s. We got 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram, just fancy term for instability, which is actually moderate to strong instability on the scale as well. And near the warm front up here, we're watching some of these storms because they are getting surface rooted on the warm front, which means that these storms will be capable of rotating, and we're already seeing that here going through parts of this evening already. So let me turn on the Omaha radar, best radar on here. And what the concern is with these storms is that actually these are going to probably be ingested into the line. So any storms that are able to rotate along this line will do so for at least a brief period of time before they start to get more rain wrapped, choke themselves off, and they'll kind of, respawn potentially more brief tornadoes through the evening. We'll see that process repeat itself through much of the evening hours. I think the main supercell potential is over. For the most part, any discrete supercells, this is going to quickly grow upscale, like we're seeing already, to more of a MCS, or a mesoscale convective system. So that is what we're seeing here into southwestern Iowa, southeastern Nebraska, and northeast Kansas. And eventually this will transition into northern Missouri as well. Again, I appreciate everybody joining. Thank you. Be sure, if you're joining on the way in, press the like button, the thumbs up button down below. It helps to get as many people on here for live severe weather coverage. We're tracking it here this evening, mainly across the Midwest, so I appreciate it. Consider subscribing down below. We get daily forecasts on this channel every single morning at 9 a.m. Central Daylight Time, all right? So you guys get great 10 to 15-minute forecasts each morning. And I will be putting out my summer forecast for tomorrow. So the summer forecast will be out tomorrow. So do be sure to tune in for that forecast. It's going to be going over June, July, and August weather. So what to expect this summer. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning up here toward the Creston area. This is for 60-mile-per-hour winds and half-dollar size hail. The movement on this storm is to the east at 15 miles per hour. So right now, these storms near the warm front are not moving very quickly, and that is due to the lack of wind shear. But there is enough to rotate some of these storms. So that's why we have that warning, tornado warning near the Red Oak area, just to the southwest of Red Oak here. That's in southwestern Iowa, and then back toward Nebraska City. This storm is really producing some very heavy and torrential rain, and I'll put the loop on here for you as well. Look at that training over the same areas. We got more storms moving up from the south and west toward the Hamburg, Nebraska City area, right along I-29 there in far, far southwestern Iowa. These storms are really getting going here this evening. All right, now this is an area of the storm that we're really watching just to the west of Clarinda here. The Essex area getting down toward Shenandoah, those areas here in the southwestern Iowa. This is for 2-inch hail, folks. So this is eastern Fremont County, southern Montgomery County, southeastern Mills County, as well as northwestern Page County, okay? So if you live in those areas, this goes in effect till 9:30 Central Daylight Time. This is for 2-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. The movement on these storms are east at 30 miles per hour. And just to note, at 8:27, just a handful of minutes ago, this storm has reported, we had public reports of golf ball size hail in the Sidney area. So this has already produced some golf ball size hail back in the Sidney area here into southwestern Iowa just about 5-6 minutes ago. So this definitely has the look of a decent hailstorm pushing across southwest Iowa here. So if you live in Shenandoah, the Riverton area, Hamburg, up to Essex there in southwest Iowa, you're probably going to be experiencing some pretty decent hail and very heavy and torrential rain through the next probably half an hour to 45 minutes. Again, I apologize. I will be drinking water throughout the stream. So if you hear that as well as the thunder outside, that is what is going on. So farther south and west, let's get into southeast Nebraska. This is near the Auburn area. This is mainly for just quarter-size hail, so that is why this storm is warned. Also, some 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts. This storm's movement is east at 35 miles per hour. So just looking for some hail here down into southeastern Nebraska near the Auburn region. This will quickly be approaching the I-29 corridor into far northwestern Missouri over the next, say, 30-35 minutes or so. Grace says, how's Minnesota weather looking? Well, if we zoom out here, Minnesota, you guys are A-okay as far as most of the weather is concerned for tonight. As I can turn on the Minneapolis radar, there's nothing happening. So if you live, if you live in Minneapolis, St. Paul, St. Cloud, Rochester, Duluth, Fargo, you guys are all good up there. So the severe weather threat is farther to your south. by a state or two. So you guys are good. The good news is, speaking of the good news, we have the tornado warnings have been allowed to expire or be canceled across southwestern Iowa. Both of those. We had 2 tornado warnings just a handful of minutes ago. Those have been allowed to expire. But we still need to be on the lookout for storms that are capable of producing tornadoes up across this region. As this continues to develop into what we call an MCS or mesoscale convective system, this will be pushing primarily across south central Iowa from Des Moines down to the Leon region, right along I-35 down through northern Missouri. So if you live in Chillicothe, Missouri there, up through Leon and southern Iowa and the Des Moines metro area, just be on the lookout for some strong and severe storms as we go through the mid and late evening hours here. Again, thank you all for joining. Much appreciated. Thanks for the support on this channel, as always. We're covering live severe weather coverage here this evening. Down toward the Beatrice area, there's a nice hailstorm down in this region. We got some quarter-size hail there. Northeast Kansas, Marysville down to Blue Rapids. We have 1.5 inch hail, which is half dollar size, or ping pong ball size rather, as well, and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This is trained weather spotters, so they are confirming ping pong ball size hail here. Nice little hail core. This will be pushing up toward the Marysville region. So if you're in Marysville, you might have had some quarter-size hail, or at least a smaller pocket of hail move just over you or to your north down here into northeast Kansas. But this quickly will be evolving in another hailstorm that was pushing to the north and east. That'll be crossing into Marysville and Highway 36 rather soon. So get ready for another area of hail pushing across your region. Again, thank you all for joining. We're doing live severe weather coverage. I know there's other severe storms. We may get to those periodically. South Dakota, we got a severe storm, or at least we did earlier on. And yeah, we still do up here toward the Rapid City area. If we take a look at this storm up here, this is just a lone supercell producing some quarter to half dollar size hail. Nothing too big of a deal there. And it's mainly just north of I-90 there. So between Rapid City and Pierre, South Dakota, mainly in open areas there. We got more damaging storms up here in towards portions of Illinois we want to get to, so let's look at these here real quick while we are on the live radar. You can see if you live in the Macomb area, this is into McDonough County, into western portions of Illinois. You are seeing some very strong winds, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this line of storms and some quarter-size hail. So if you live in McDonough County here into western Illinois, including the Macomb area where Western Illinois University is located, you guys are probably going to be seeing some strong winds, 60, 70-mile-an-hour winds. Some 1-inch size hail too. So definitely a decent severe thunderstorm, considerable thunderstorm tag on this as well. So if you live in Macomb, Carthage, Bushnell, the Hamilton region, Augusta, Industry, Good Hope, Prairie City into Illinois, watch out for that. That'll be pressing its way down here towards the Rushville area, Lewistown, Havana here into western Illinois. This will be eventually approaching the Springfield, Illinois area. That'll be the capital of Illinois. That will be approaching I-55, I-72 here as it pushes into the better instability. And in fact, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning here. This just has been issued for the Rushville area into western Illinois. For Schuyler County, this is until 9:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time here, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So this is turning more into a wind bag as it presses off to the south and east, mainly over open areas here as it presses out of the Macomb area there. And then we have another severe thunderstorm. This is a pretty decent storm just to the south of Joliet, Illinois, down toward Coal City and the Morris, Illinois region, right along I-55 here. This is for 60-mile-per-hour winds and also some quarter-size hail. The concern with this one is also some flash flooding, as this is, nearly stationary. This storm is very slowly moving. This is southwestern Will County, northeastern Grundy County. This is in northeast Illinois till 9:15 Central Daylight Time, so about another half hour to 45 minutes on this storm. So if you live in Morris, the Minooka area, Braidwood, Reed Custer, into the portions there of Wilmington, Coal City, Diamond, Elwood, Lakewood Shores, and Carbon Hill, those areas will be impacted. This will be pressing ever so slowly toward the I-57 corridor or toward Joliet. So we'll watch this storm as well. And we'll put this into motion to kind of give you a general gist of just how slowly this is moving. And I'm very concerned about a flash flooding risk right there along I-55. Yeah, other than that, into northern Illinois, we're just mainly seeing just some stratiform rain here. So if you live up there toward Ottawa, DeKalb there, NIU, and then back there towards the Dixon region, getting over here towards Davenport, Quad Cities, the back edge of the rain, just seeing some nice drenching rains across your region there from I-88 down to I-80 and the I-39 corridor there. We'll keep an eye on those storms in Illinois, but right now those are starting to slowly wind down. The real intense severe weather is still back off here towards the Omaha, Lincoln, and the Des Moines region. Tons of severe warnings. These are mainly producing some big hail, big wind, and this is all going to press in farther to the east. So if you live along I-35 from Des Moines metro area down through the Leon region, eventually Centerville, Ottumwa, Iowa, getting back down there and toward the Kirksville, Missouri area, Chillicothe, Missouri, Maryville, those areas downstream will be impacted a few hours from now, so just have multiple ways to receive watches, warnings, whether it's a weather radio, watching me here on YouTube, or any other way you can. If you have a smartphone, a tablet, a laptop, anything that you can get alerted on for up-to-date warnings and watches in your area, whether it's a severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado warning, definitely a lot of helpful tools to get the job done in case you are sleeping overnight tonight. So I'll try to go live here this evening as long as I possibly can. And again, I appreciate it. And if you really want to help out, press that like button down below, guys. We're only up to 49 likes, as many likes as we can get, because the more people who like the live streams here, the more people who can join and are aware of this live stream. So I appreciate all the help out there. You guys do an amazing job as well. I think on Wednesday and Thursday could be possible. I keep seeing it's possible. You know, the type of weather pattern we're in is take it a day at a time, because basically this is kind of more like we're in May, right? So this is more like a June, July, early August type of weather pattern where you have a big upper level ridge across the middle of the country, and then you have these what you call ridge rider uh, complexes of storms that move over top of the ridge and dive to the southeast. This is more typical of a weather pattern you would see around, Father's Day weekend to like the 4th of July. So this is pretty early on we're seeing this weather pattern. So and these weather patterns are very, very tricky to forecast convective wind events, which what I mean is derechos can occur out of this weather pattern. Not to say there's going to be one occurring tonight or anything like that. I don't think that is the case. But, these weather patterns are very, very touch and go with type of, severe weather. Like one day you may have some big severe storms and a big line of storms. And then you see a similar pattern that looks the same with another chance of another line of storms moving through, but then it doesn't happen. So it's just kind of touch and go with the severe weather with this type of weather pattern. It's either it's all in and you see a bunch of severe warnings like tonight down here into southwestern Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas, or you don't see anything at all. And right now it's all in. We got all the severe weather going on. Yeah, you said it best, Rain Mave. Just wait a couple weeks. Like I say, just wait till late May. Things are slowly warming up. This is our first early season, quote unquote, heat wave, but things will be warming up, and it'll become more prime for severe weather. It's going to be very active. If you live in the Midwest, from like Minnesota, Iowa, into Illinois, get ready this early summer, especially late spring, early summer. You're going to have a lot of frequent severe weather events. I promise you that. Galesburg, Illinois has 70-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah, let's go over here to Galesburg. There's no storms over here in Galesburg right now. They're all pressing off toward the Peoria, Pekin, Illinois area, Canton, Macomb, Keokuk, Iowa. That's the back edge of the line there. So, like I said, if you live in Havana, Lewistown, the Rushville region, Mount Sterling with time potentially as this propagates further to the south southeast, we could be dealing with some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds down in this region, and this again will be approaching the capital of Illinois there in Springfield rather soon, within the next probably 45 minutes to hour and a half. Yeah, the weather pattern is definitely weird, I'll tell you that. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Grace. Yeah, so this is what we're seeing, zooming it out, showing you the Illinois Valley here. Just a cluster of showers and storms. You may get under a severe thunderstorm warning. Others will probably just get some heavy rain from Rockford, Illinois, down I-39 toward LaSalle, Peru, and then down I-39 to Bloomington Normal. Probably just getting some drenching rains and some decent lightning and thunder here through the evening hours. Other than that, we're seeing some scattered severe storms, more organized severe weather into western Illinois toward the Macomb area. That will be moving down towards Springfield. And then Peoria, Illinois, mainly just seeing some general thunderstorms, maybe some pea to dime size hail. Wouldn't be surprised if we got a new warning coming out for this one as it kind of gains a little bit of steam there as it pushes toward Bloomington Normal. And then we got another big area of storms up toward the Joliet region here in the Kankakee area. So we're going to be watching this with time. This is mainly just for 60 mile per hour winds, but a decent hail core up here with an inch, maybe up to an inch and a half diameter north of Coal City and east of Morris. Seeing the purples up here and the reds and pinks come together. A little bit of a hail core up there as well. That's right along I-55, and it's not moving very much, so I am concerned about a flash flooding risk for you guys. All right, let's dive right into some of the storm relative velocity. Let's check some of this out here, just making sure some of these storms are not rotating. Zooming it in here, I'm not seeing any rotation up here toward the Creston or the Lenox region into southwest Iowa. Those storms are mainly just producing some hail and damaging winds. We got some very broad rotation on the leading edge of these storms down here towards the Clarinda region, Red Oak. That was the storm that earlier on had a tornado warning, has since been allowed to expire or be canceled. Just mainly seeing damaging winds and hail, but we'll watch that, see if that tightens up over the next few frames. Moving farther southbound, got a little bit of some rotation. Again, east of Hamburg there, trying to, again, it's very broad though. We're not seeing any tornadoes in this region, and then a new radar scan just came in. And just east of Hamburg here, we have some sheared out rotate. Again, it's very, very broad, but if there were to be a tornado spin up there, it would be moving toward the Clarinda region, but we're only seeing 60 mile per hour winds here and ping pong ball size hail. Trained weather spotters have confirmed at 8:40 p.m. This is Central Daylight Time. This was 7 minutes ago that quarter-size hail was reported in Hamburg. So this is producing some quarter-size hail. This is moving toward the Stanton and Wasilla region. And then mainly farther to the south, we're just seeing just a line of supercells embedded within the line, damaging winds and hail. And this is really going to be the calling card for the storms tonight, is just mainly going to be damaging winds and hail. Every once in a great while, we could be seeing some tornadoes spin up out of this. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. But thank you guys for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, be sure to ask. I am always here to answer your questions for sure, so do not hesitate. All questions are great questions, so. Yeah, we're quickly approaching we're quickly approaching Mother's Day weekend already. Yep, this next weekend. Already. And then before you know it, it'll be Father's Day weekend in the middle of June, and half the summer will be over. That's just how it goes, right? All right, we got a new severe thunderstorm warning here crossing over I-29, extreme northwestern Missouri. This is the Tarkio area. This is for 60 mile per hour winds and also excuse me, 60 mile per hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail. So yeah, that's what we're seeing here across portions of this is Atchison County in northwest Missouri, the Tarkio area, Rockport, Blanchard, Westboro, Watson, and Phelps City. So this is Interstate 29 between mile markers 106 and 123. And this is moving out of the Hamburg and Auburn area here. I'll tell you what, though, these storms are definitely going to pack quite a punch tonight. If you can, anybody that lives in South Central Iowa, just wait it out a few more hours. You'll be seeing some severe weather. I imagine the severe weather threat will be pretty substantial tonight in that enhanced risk area there, especially Des Moines on southward, south of I-80, mainly in Iowa there, and then getting down towards the I-35 corridor towards Chillicothe into Missouri, northern Missouri. That would be going to get pretty noisy here over the next few hours. Will Marion County, Iowa see more storms tonight? I am not exactly sure where Marion County is. So can you give me a city name? Yeah, so you can see, look at this. This is an entire squall line, and all this entire squall line is going to be pushing farther to the east. So you can see from Des Moines down here into northwestern or northeastern Kansas, this is all going to be moving due east and then probably dropping more southeast with time along that instability axis and warm front. Once it reaches southeastern Iowa, northeast Missouri, and west central Illinois, kind of similar to the system, the mesoscale convective system that's into Illinois, central Illinois right now. More or less, that is what is probably going to happen. A lot of times when these storms develop, they develop right along a boundary. You have to have lift for thunderstorms. We have lift with the warm front up here, draped across central portions of Iowa. You notice north of the warm front, there's not anything really too much happening. Very stable air up there in the northern portions of Iowa. In regards to location. But if you live in southern portions of Iowa in this area, I would be on high alert through the rest of this evening into the early overnight hours. Could definitely be talking about 60, 70, perhaps isolated 80 mile per hour wind gusts. We have to be watching out for some damaging hail. Some of these hailstones could be well over quarter size. We're talking ping pong ball, golf ball, who knows, maybe even up to tennis ball size hail overnight tonight. Definitely a possibility, and a couple of spin up tornadoes. And that goes for you if you live in northern Missouri, from Kansas City on northward, and then that does include the Quincy, Illinois area. Just be on the lookout there as this kind of the southern end of this line tries to back build, and then that'll press across those areas later on tonight. The Pleasantville, Iowa area. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up, man. I have no idea where that's at. Let me look it up. Let's see here. You're talking southeast Des Moines there. Yeah, I would say, yeah, you're gonna have some severe weather probably. Pretty much you're on the northern end of that squall line, probably as it moves through. I think the strongest part of this will probably move right along the Iowa-Missouri border. That's what it's looking like right now. Victoria, Woodbridge, Virginia. Virginia, you're good. You're not seeing any severe weather. Virginia, you are fine. We're mainly concerned about the Midwest here for tonight. Does late May look like it could have some severe, possibly? Um, yes and no. It just really depends on the weather pattern that happens then. If we get another blocking pattern, then all bets are off. I honestly just one of those Mays where it gives me a vibe where we have to just focus more on the trends in the weather models versus what the weather models are really actually showing. So if you're looking, for example, at like the GFS or the European forecast model, and you're saying, well, in Des Moines, Iowa, we're going to see a squall line, and you're looking 10 days out from today. Well, you couldn't be more wrong. That probably won't happen the way it shows. So, what you have to do is mainly look at the trends in the weather models and say, well, the trend is there that there could be severe weather. The model is showing some energy, but, by the time that 10th day gets here, that squall line could be more like nothing. So, that's why in the weather department, you always have to look at trends as well as anything else, because, like I always say, trends are your friend, and they really are. That's why when I do my summer forecast that I'll be putting out for tomorrow morning, that's what I'll be looking at, because we're only in May and I'm talking about summer for June, July, and August. And what I look at is the long range climate models and the extended range forecast models, so such as the European guidance, the GFS, ensembles, the whole 9 yards. That will mainly be trend forecasting, basically, but it's still a helpful tool. Don't get me wrong, the climate models do an amazing job at forecasting the weather, even just a couple months out. And the reason why I'm putting out a summer forecast, when summer officially starts on June 21st and it's only May 8th tomorrow, is to get you ready to understand what we could expect going into the summer months. So if you're planning a vacation or if you're planning any special events for the 4th of July, just to know kind of what the general weather pattern will be like. Will I know exactly X, Y, and Z what will happen on July 4th? Absolutely not. There's no way to know that, but that is why I put out the forecast so you guys can understand and, see what could happen around that time frame. So that will be out tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I got a lot of work ahead of me tonight, that's for sure. I'll be staying up well after midnight to put that video together for you guys. I was thinking about, well, it's active. There's severe weather happening Monday, Tuesday. I was gonna put a weather video out for the summer forecast on. Actually, I was thinking about doing it Wednesday, May 10th. Um, I'm still kind of thinking I may, but right now I'm going ahead and saying probably tomorrow morning. But there is still the off chance that if you wake up tomorrow morning, there's still going to be a video. But if it doesn't show summer forecast, don't worry. Don't be like, well, this weather on the go guy, he's lying. No, I'll be putting a summer forecast out this week, whether it's tomorrow or Wednesday. It'll be one of those days. But just a very active week. I think the severe weather in the short term is more important than a summer forecast, in my opinion. So we'll just have to wait and see. We'll play it by ear. But right now, the plan is for tomorrow. You're welcome, Lucas. You're welcome. Yeah, mainly this is all producing damaging winds. This is going to continue to, produce damaging winds. We got more warnings. This is for the Clarinda region. This is in towards southwestern Iowa here. This is producing some decent hail. This is for golf ball size hail. Emergency management has reported some golf ball size hail near the Farragut region. This is into southwestern Iowa. It's had a history of producing golf ball size hail near Farragut, Iowa. So we already have confirmation of this by emergency management there. And this storm's moving east at 40 miles an hour. So this will be moving toward the Lennox region, Creston, and the Bedford, Iowa region. This is in southwestern Iowa, just west of I-35. So all the storms are basically moving from west to east right now, with more of an east-northeast component. So they're kind of moving a little bit more east and northeast here. So that's currently what we're seeing. So the northern end of this line is trying ever so slightly to get up there toward the Des Moines area, but I think the most severity of the storms are going to be strongest to the south of Des Moines. That's what it's looking like. What's the green stuff behind the storms on the radar in Iowa? That's just radar noise and just some rain. See the radar site there just west of Omaha? That's basically most of that, but it's also some rain. But I'm going to keep an eye on this storm here behind the line. A little bit of a supercell there, just east of Omaha, just popped up over the last, 10, 20 minutes or so, half hour. Just right now is along and it's probably going to move north of the warm front, so it looks like it's going to be producing more hail. But as it moves into more stable air, because this is moving more north and east versus due east along the warm front. So what this tells me Right now, the storm is more elevated and probably will continue to remain elevated as it moves north of the boundary. Anything north of the warm front, you're moving into stable air. The environment is more stable. The farther north of Des Moines you go, the farther south of Des Moines you go, in towards southern Iowa, northern Missouri, that is where the more unstable air is this evening into the overnight hours. And south of the warm front, along and south of that boundary, you're going to have more surface rooted storms, which means damaging winds, large hail, and a couple isolated tornadoes will be possible, even along the main squall line. So yeah, we're getting hit hard here in the Creston, Iowa region, back down here toward Red Oak. You're about done with the heavy rain, but the Creston area, Lenox, get ready down here toward Bedford, Clarinda, and then down in toward the Tarkio region into northwestern Missouri. We're definitely getting ready, gearing up for some stronger storms within the next few minutes to 10 minutes or so. So if you live in those areas, be sure to move indoors and stay away from windows, the lowest, most interior room. Definitely most helpful, especially when you're talking about some significant severe weather moving through. Again, if you have not yet, press that like button down below. We're up to 71 likes. I would appreciate, guys, if you would, or ladies as well. Thanks you so much for joining. Ladies and gentlemen, just press that like button down below. Definitely helps out. Appreciate it. We're watching a couple of thunderstorms here on the back end of the line, a couple supercells. This is in northern Kansas as well. This is toward the Beloit, Kansas area. This is for 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter size hail, and also some half-dollar size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds up there east of Smith Center toward the Mankato region. This is in northern Kansas. So we're continuing to keep an eye on this as well. And these storms as well are pushing off from west to east. So this is kind of moving right along Highway 36 there into northern Kansas. But by far, the southern end of this line is the strongest. That's in northeast Kansas right now. This will be exiting Kansas ever so slowly. We'll see how much this back builds down here toward the Clay Center region or toward Blue Rapids. There could be some back building onto this, but mainly some big hailers back here. We got a quarter size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds up there into southeastern Nebraska near the Wymore region. We got a ping pong ball size hail here and 60-mile-per-hour winds over the Marysville area, and then back in towards portions there of the Hanover area, Washington, Kansas. That is for quarter size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with that one as well. So we are slowly transitioning more to a convective wind event across this region, and that is going to be the calling card for these storms going overnight. And it's developing. This is an MCS, guys. A squall line is a mesoscale convective system. A derecho is a mesoscale convective system. This is not a derecho. This is not a derecho at all. But this is a squall line, or at what we call a QLCS, that is pushing across portions there of southwestern Iowa, southeastern Nebraska, northeast Kansas, and eventually even now entering into far northwest Missouri this evening. So I'm curious, where you guys, all you guys that are in the chat or on the live stream, where are you guys located? Are you guys in the Midwest here? Are you in Iowa? Name your city if you guys, where you're tuning in from. But yeah, if you live in the Clarinda region here into southwestern Iowa, we are definitely seeing some golf ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This is for southeastern Montgomery County and eastern Page County. This is in towards southwest Iowa. Again, this is moving east at 40 miles an hour. And once again, emergency management has reported golf ball size hail with this storm back there toward the Farragut, Iowa area. So that's in southwest Iowa. That was just reported probably 10-20 minutes ago. So these storms are ripping and roaring right now across the Midwest. So our main concern is the Midwest. Yes, there's severe weather outside of the Midwest. I'm aware of that as well, but those are mainly just the general everyday severe thunderstorms, 60-mile-per-hour winds, quarter size hail. This is more the significant severe weather. I see Olathe, Kansas, or Olathe, Dallas, Texas, Peoria, Illinois, Steve, Broken Bow, Nebraska, Pella, Iowa, Blue Earth, Minnesota. Thank you guys all for joining. Definitely appreciate you joining the live coverage. I try to go live as many times as I can during severe weather events, especially the significant ones. Pensacola, Florida, Perryville, Kentucky. Yeah, so you guys are all over the United States. Awesome. Thanks for joining. Yeah, Peoria, Illinois, you guys are seeing some storms moving through right now. We actually have, and like I mentioned earlier, look at that, right on the money. I said these storms east of Peoria would probably go severe warned, and there we go. We got a severe thunderstorm warning for 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail here as well. For Woodford County, southeastern Tazewell County, and central McLean County. This is in central Illinois until 9:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. These storms are booking it to the east at 55 miles per hour, so the pedal is down on these storms as they're over the Mackinac region or Eureka. So watch out there from the I-39, I-55 interchange near the Bloomington Normal region. Kind of got a little bit of a bow echo trying to develop there. We'll see what happens with that. But if you live in Peoria, to Pekin, to Washington, Illinois, you're probably just seeing some heavy rain, a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning right now. Back up here into western Illinois earlier on, toward the Galesburg region, we had some stronger storms that's starting to clear out, or at least dry out for your area. Davenport, Quad Cities. Right now, we're seeing the back edge of the rain moving on through. This is up there towards the I-80, I-88 corridor in northern Illinois. We got a couple of thunderstorms developing. We'll have to watch here north of the boundary into northeastern Iowa, the Waterloo area, Ames, Marshalltown, Cedar Rapids, Maquoketa, those areas into northeast Iowa. We'll watch you guys for potentially some hail producers later on this evening. But the main show, by far, the main show, guys, is back here into Iowa and into getting into Missouri overnight. Massive squall line. I mean, this entire squall line is lit up with severe warnings right now. So I can barely keep up with all the warnings, just kind of going through some of the warnings with time. But these are mainly for 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. Like we have a new warning out. This is for near the Creston area, just south of Winterset, Iowa, for 60 mile per hour wind gusts and half dollar size hail as well until 9:45 Central Time this evening. Southwestern Madison County, northern Union County, and southeastern Adair County. That is moving into the Macksburg, Iowa region. And these will be approaching I-35 within the next hour or so, maybe sooner than that, depending on the speed of the propagation of these storms. Belton, Texas. You're from Belton, Texas, Janie says. Manistee, Michigan, Linda. That's right, you're in Manistee, right? Well, I appreciate everybody joining here this evening. Fayetteville, Arkansas, waiting for the week of rain and cleaning out the gutters. That's always a good time of year. Yeah, always important to clean out the gutters, especially when you have heavy rain. Yeah, if you're in Arkansas, you got that active subtropical jet there. With the El Nino coming in later into the summer, yeah, you're probably going to see more of the active heavy rains and more severe storms down in Arkansas. You got a break for now, but get ready here later on this summer and into the fall months. Probably going to get a lot more rainy. Hello, Weather on the Go, and everyone. Any weather updates on Northwest Kansas? Saunders, hello to you as well. Good evening. And Northwest Kansas, we're not seeing any storms. If you live in like Goodland area, we're not seeing any storms. All the storms in Kansas are into extreme northern Kansas and really extreme northeast Kansas, and they probably won't be there for long. These storms will be exiting into Iowa and Missouri rather soon, as they are right now. Canyon Country, California. Gene, thank you for joining from California. Appreciate it. I've never been to California, but it looks like a beautiful state for sure. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome, Saunders. Yeah, we're still watching this warning back here into the Tarkio area there in the extreme northwestern Missouri. This is when we get into a squall line situation like this with these storms producing damaging winds and large hail, it's really just the leading edge of the squall line that you have to worry about the strongest winds with these systems. Once you get past the leading edge, you'll still have some strong weather, but it's not as intense as the leading edge. That is where you're going to find your 60, 70, and who knows, maybe even 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts this evening into the overnight hours. The low-level jet will be kicking up here rather soon if it hasn't started already. So we're going to be getting some pretty strong winds moving in from the southwest with the low-level jet, and that will enhance some of the wind potential as this grows upscale into a squall line, or MCS, a mesoscale convective system, through this evening. Again, thank you for joining. Consider pressing the subscribe button if you are not subscribed to the channel. Thank you all. We are already over 30,200 subscribers on this channel, so I appreciate everybody's support. We're really grown over this past year, and I hope to continue to grow past 100,000. Hopefully later on this year, that's my goal, to hit over 100,000 subscribers. So couldn't do it without you guys, so I appreciate it. I've been down to Kansas City, Missouri for a football game and concert before at Arrowhead Stadium. Well, that's pretty cool. Home of the Chiefs. Will the storms in Illinois move across northern lower Michigan? That's a great question. Right now, it looks like the storms, no, they're not going to. Northern lower Michigan, you are not going to see any storms tonight. Like Traverse City, you guys are very stable. The warm front is only going to, it's not going much farther north tonight. In fact, if you live right along this white line here and south, that's where you're going to see the strongest of the weather down in this region. If you're anywhere north of that line, you're going to, the farther north you are, the more stable it is, and the less and less the chance for severe storms will be. These storms are turning more southeast. So the storms over here in Illinois are actually, rather than going this way toward the northeast, they are actually turning. So the instability is kind of like this. That's kind of how the warm front is laying out. So if you're south of the warm front, the instability is growing all across this region, or kind of remaining sustained right now through the evening. And the storms are going to kind of move right along the warm front and the instability axis, kind of like this, through the night. And I could probably draw a better arrow than that, but into that region there. So that's kind of the trajectory of the storms up and over that ridge. That's why we call them ridge rider mesoscale convective systems. And that's why I was mentioning earlier, this is the pattern we're in usually in June and July, or even early August, not May. So kind of an very early summer pattern we're in right now. Let's give an update on our folks over here in towards Illinois. Looking here toward the Rushville region, down close to Mount Sterling, we're going to be watching out for you for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That is why it is warned for just 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts there. And the Schuyler County region, this is moving southeast at 30 miles per hour. And again, is affecting the Rushville and Littleton, Illinois region. So watch out there for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And then over just south and east of Peoria into the Bloomington Normal region, we are definitely seeing some storms moving through your neck of the woods here. These storms could be capable of producing more quarter-size hail here and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Not, too significant for severe weather, but if you live in Woodford County, southeastern Tazewell, or central McLean County, just watch out for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Just stay indoors, and you guys should be fine over here. And given the trajectory of the storms, again, right over that ridge, so they're pushing more southeast here in the Illinois Valley. So they'll be pushing down toward Champaign-Urbana, Bloomington Normal here rather soon within the next few minutes. Decatur down here towards Springfield, those areas, will be watching you in there in the next couple of hours. More severe weather for you. Otherwise, our main focus, again, all night long will be onto the squall line to the west. Is it looking more concern? Is it looking concerning for St. Louis Metro tomorrow evening? Yeah. Well, tomorrow there's a slight risk for St. Louis, I do believe. So, yes, tomorrow would be your day for damaging winds and large hail, and even a tornado threat for St. Louis. And that again will be another MCS or mesoscale convective system for St. Louis tomorrow. So yes, I'll have an. Well, for my summer forecast video tomorrow, that puts a wrench in my forecast for severe weather. So hopefully, I'll be putting, if you follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. It's in the description down below. Anybody who wants to know anything more additional about the severe weather coming up early this week, since I'll be putting my summer video out probably tomorrow, but I may hold off till Wednesday again because we do have severe weather, so I may kind of hold that off my summer video potentially to Wednesday. Because I think by the middle of the week, we'll have a little break potentially on Wednesday of at least the higher end severe weather, and then it picks back up on Thursday. There's actually a day 5 slight risk in the Western Plains. So a classic dry line setup on Thursday, but that's a few days out. How's the Omaha region going to do throughout the night? I've got some family there. The Omaha region currently has escaped the severe weather to the south and east for the majority of the early evening hours. There's one severe thunderstorm warning just to the west-southwest of Omaha. We'll have to keep an eye on. This is just for hail. This is for half-dollar size hail. It's moving northeast at 30 miles per hour, and this is toward the Ithaca region into southeastern and eastern Nebraska. So between Lincoln and Omaha, that's that storm. That may just go to the west of Omaha, kind of like that. So that's basically what it looks like. So kind of like this, that is basically the direction in which that storm is heading. So maybe just west of Omaha. So yeah, Omaha, you guys look to be one of the luckier cities there to escape the severe weather for the majority of tonight. But we'll still have to keep an eye on you there because there still could be additional storms that could pop up. All right, we only need 11 more. We need 10 more likes now for to get to 100 likes on the live stream. So I'd appreciate if you haven't liked the live stream, make sure to do so down below on your way in or out. Thank you so much. I'm about 65 miles south of Traverse City. Yeah, well, you still, if you're anywhere in Michigan, I'm not concerned. Even southwestern lower Michigan, I'm really not too concerned about severe weather tonight. It's mainly going to be into Indiana, and really Indiana's not too concerning. I think if you live Illinois Valley on west there toward the Iowa, Missouri border, that's really where I'm concerned for potentially an overnight squall line, bow echo, stuff like that. At least I can get some sleep until 6 a.m. when the storms come through again. There you go. Just make sure to have multiple ways to receive watches and warnings. Weather radios, a smartphone, tablet, computer, anything that can wake you up in the middle of the night. To get your watches and warnings, definitely a good tool to use. Thank you, Amy Johnson, for the $5 donation, showing support. Absolutely, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Very generous of you. Everybody give Amy a round of applause in the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation. $5 definitely goes a long way. I'm going to look at the echo tops from these storms here. And you'll find that these storms are very tall, so they will not take a lot to produce hail. You got 40 to 50,000 foot tops here across northwestern Missouri, southwestern Iowa, getting into southeastern Nebraska, northeast Kansas. A lot of these down here into Kansas are a lot taller because they're into the higher instability, which means the storms could grow a lot taller. 55,000 feet now into northeastern Kansas with a storm there. 51,000 feet there into portions there in northeast Kansas. So, and then we got a decent storm up here just southwest of Des Moines. It's about 50,000 feet. So just imagine that's a pretty much 10 miles up in the atmosphere. Definitely a very tall storm, about 10 miles up in the atmosphere. Crazy. So the leading edge of this squall line is going to be pushing in toward the Lenox, Iowa region into Bedford, Iowa within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So get ready there. Creston, Iowa, you've already seen some damaging winds and large hail. Very heavy and torrential rain that will continue to move through over the next, say, 5, 10, 15 minutes. And that may be an area to watch for maybe enhanced rainfall, an isolated flash flooding threat as you have back building here farther toward the Red Oak region. So we'll see how long that heavy rainfall lasts in toward the Creston region. We may have to concern ourselves with some isolated flash flooding. I know there's definitely going to be some ponding of water on the roadways up here and in low-lying areas. So we'll be watching you from Red Oak to Creston, those areas. We could be watching out for an isolated flash flooding threat. Lincoln had a little hail, but not too bad. I'm thankful it wasn't too bad because I did some yard work today. Well, yeah, absolutely. Nobody likes hail like that. Hopefully that you escape a lot of more of the hailstorms tonight, and you'll be good to go for the rest of the night. So again, our main focus is approaching southern Iowa right now. This squall line, the leading edge, is slowly approaching I-35 into southern Iowa and northern Missouri. And this again will be pressing its way to the north and to the east towards southeast Iowa here again. So from Des Moines to Ottumwa, Iowa City, Davenport, Quad Cities, down toward Galesburg, Burlington, all those areas again, Macomb. You guys will probably see more strong storms as we head towards the overnight hours into early Monday morning. So as you're headed off for work or school, just be sure to keep eyes to the sky because if you're at a bus stop for school or you're going to work, just bring an umbrella. Just be safe out there and watch out for lightning. Lightning, you don't have to have a severe thunderstorm to have lightning. Lightning occurs in all types of storms, so we want to be safe out there. So if you're headed off to work or school on your Monday morning, just make sure you have a weather radar handy or just eyes to the sky and make sure that you know what to do if a thunderstorm occurs. Move indoors. And again, don't stand under trees. Remember that. Do not stand under trees. Not a good idea. There was some quarter-size hail in O'Fallon, Illinois today. Yeah, that's down toward the St. Louis area. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't see a report of that, but thank you for making me aware of that. I appreciate the weather report. Have to go. Be back in the morning. Good night. Thank you, Linda. Appreciate it. Thank you for the support and joining the live stream. If my summer forecast is not out tomorrow, it will be out on Wednesday for sure. All right. So that goes for everybody as well. If my summer forecast is not out tomorrow morning, it will be out on Wednesday, May 10th. All right. So it's either tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah, we got a nice supercell up here, or at least thunderstorm trying to develop here into portion. Yeah, that's a supercell, and we have to watch this. Get a little bit of an appendage here. This is up in a northern Iowa. This is north of Highway 30 up toward the Hubbard, Iowa region, Eldora. Those areas we're watching this, and let's kind of go over here toward the storm relative velocity. And right now it's kind of muddled, very close to the radar site. So let me see. Yeah, it's very close to the radar site, so it's very tough to see. But right now, I would say probably broad rotation. That's why there's no tornado warning on that storm right now. But it's a tall one. It's a tall storm. We're up to around 47, yeah, about 47,000 feet with that storm right over the Hubbard, Iowa region. So if you live in Hubbard, Iowa, you might be seeing some weak rotation right above you and also some damaging winds and large hail. This storm is capable of producing quarter-size hail for northeastern Marshall County, southeastern Hardin County, and southwestern Grundy County. This is in central and northern Iowa till 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time here this evening. So we need to be mindful of that as well. And, a couple of these supercells could get going. They could be approaching the Marshalltown, the Cedar Rapids, Waterloo, and Mimosa, Iowa areas here in the next few hours. So just watch out. These could also grow upscale into, smaller bow echoes and bowing segments and stuff like that. through the rest of this evening into the overnight hours. So always have to be concerned about some enhanced wind potential with these storms and some hail, and who knows, maybe even a spin up tornado. Whenever you have a signature like it shows on this storm with an appendage there, you can see a little bit of an inflow notch moving in with this storm. Right in toward the Hubbard region, we have to be concerned about the potential for a tornado spin up. But right now, the rotation looks very weak, so I'm not concerned about an immediate tornado threat with that storm there just north and west of Marshalltown. That's north of Highway 30 into Iowa. Steve S., thank you for the $10 donation. I appreciate it. Thank you. Number one fan, thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate it. Everybody give Steve S. a round of applause in the live stream chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your $10 donation. Definitely goes a long way. We got an extension to the severe thunderstorm warning down here. Got to switch radars over here again. We got an extension to the severe thunderstorm warning into northwest Missouri toward the Maryville region. This is for quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, moving east at 45 miles per hour. This is for Atchison County and northern Nottoway County here until 10 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Tarkio, Rockport, Fairfax, Burlington Junction, Hopkins, Clearmont, Elmo, Pickering, all those areas, definitely watch out there in northwest Missouri. We have some damaging winds and some hail headed your way. Do you think we're going to have a lot of tornadoes this summer? I do not. I mean, there's going to be tornadoes this summer. That happens every summer. But I think we're transitioning more to these type of events with wind damage and straight line wind events. So we're slowly, and that's typical for summer. You transition out of the spring to summer, you're going to see more convective wind events versus tornado outbreaks. Sure, there could be tornado outbreaks in the summer, but the frequency of those are going to be much lower than in the spring, and we're going to transition more to these ridge rider complexes of storms that move up and over the ridge of high pressure and dive down to the southeast, much like what we're seeing here today and tonight, and that will probably occur into June, July, and August here this summer. Yeah, there's a second tornado season. That's usually in the fall. That's usually in the fall. Yeah, we got a whole cluster of severe warnings over here into eastern Illinois, so let's track this. We got kind of a disorganized, semi-organized squall line over in this region. We have 1 inch hail, so quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. These storms are very slow movers. This is eastern Livingston County, southeastern Grundy County, Kankakee County, Ford County, and Iroquois County into portions of east central Illinois. So if you live in those areas, watch out for that. That's around Bloomington, and let me just put this into motion. To show you how slow these storms are moving, they're really not moving very fast. So like I mentioned earlier on, the wind shear with these storms is absolutely weak. So this is about like as low as you can get for wind shear that you can get for severe storms. So they're not moving quick. There's not a lot of energy in the jet stream to push these storms farther to the east very quickly. At least not right now. I appreciate everybody joining. Again, I thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, we're just seeing some heavy rain into northern Illinois. Right now, not seeing any severe weather in northern Illinois, so that's some good news. Let's look at what we can expect. Let's use the HRRR model here. I think it should be good to go. So let's go back to the composite reflectivity. All right, so this is what we're going to expect through the rest of this evening. All right, so we got the storm complex to the east into the Illinois Valley. That's quickly pushing off there into eastern Illinois and western parts of Indiana. We got our new complex of storms developing here through the evening hours, and look how this explodes across Iowa, guys. This could be developing a nice bow echo or at least a squall line of damaging winds. The strongest part of this will be across portions of southern Iowa into northern Missouri, right along the Iowa-Missouri border there. And then as we go through the after midnight time frame, this is 5 in the morning, and this will really be pushing across portions of western Illinois again with more potentially locally damaging winds, some large hail, maybe a brief spin up tornado, but the heavy rainfall threat will be more pronounced as we go into your Monday morning. This is 5 o'clock in the morning Central Time, and this will kind of meander farther to the east before losing its luster toward the mid-morning hours as that low-level jet starts to weaken towards the sunrise and thereafter time frame. Hello, thank you for joining. You're welcome, Saunders. But this is 8 o'clock in the morning, so 8 o'clock in the morning, yeah, St. Louis, you guys could be seeing some storms. I would say about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning there in St. Louis to Jefferson City to Springfield, Illinois. Just be watching out for that. O'Fallon, those areas, we could be seeing some nice strong winds with these storms. Some large hail and also a brief spin-up tornado into your Monday morning. This is at 6 a.m. Possibly some stronger storms to the north into northern Illinois and eastern Iowa. That may be more of a heavy rainfall threat as the instability gets kind of a little bit more pinched off farther to the north. I think the higher instability values will probably be by 6 a.m. across the southern extent of this line. So this would probably be the strongest part of the line, but definitely still could be seeing some stronger storms in this region as well, but probably more of a heavy rain threat in this area up here versus down across this region into central Missouri, south central Illinois. That is the area where we could have the strongest winds, large hail, and a brief spin up tornado through your Monday morning commute. And then as we go through the day on Monday there, we got 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And you know what's very interesting about the setup is it's a domino effect. Whatever happens tonight and how the mesoscale convective system, or otherwise known as an MCS, develops will have a domino effect on what happens later on Monday. So what I mean by that is, as you see how this weekends into 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday, it's going to leave an outflow boundary. That is just kind of some rain-cooled air across central portions of Missouri into southern Illinois there. And right along that outflow boundary, that is where new storm initiation will be near St. Louis and Jefferson City mid to late afternoon on your Monday, and that could also develop another squall line. That one would probably propagate more to the south across the mid-south in the Tennessee Valley through Little Rock, through Jonesboro, into Memphis, going through the overnight hours Monday into Tuesday. So a domino effect it is with these types of weather patterns. So whatever happens tonight will dictate what happens tomorrow. So things will be changing in the model land with the model forecasts. So just always keep your eyes glued to the radar because things can change minute to minute and hour to hour. So that is what we're seeing going into your Monday. So whatever happens tonight will affect the severe weather for tomorrow. The outflow boundaries will be key. And again, tomorrow's severe weather threat will definitely be more observational trend. Observational trends will be very key for tomorrow's severe weather threat. Looking at those is very important. The observational trends are key. So let's go back to the live radar here. Up here toward Omaha again, we're still seeing that line of strong storms here across portions of Iowa, getting in towards northwestern Missouri, back down into northern and northeast Kansas. Just mainly some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and also some quarter to $half size hail. That's the main risk with these storms right now. This Omega block is only temporary. May is very tough. I think if we're going into late May, I think the plains and Midwest will be active. The lower Midwest, I think if you live in the Great Lakes in the Northeast or the Mid-Atlantic, it's going to be tough to get any severe weather late into May because I do expect another shot of cold air moving farther south. So some cooler weather for a few days into late May may kind of temper the severe weather threat quite a bit there across the Great Lakes, the Northeast, and the Mid-Atlantic. But we'll continue to monitor that as it gets closer, as things do change. Yeah, so right now it appears that Des Moines is very lucky, just like Omaha. We had no severe weather in Omaha. That storm actually did was allowed to expire or be canceled. That hail producer just to the west southwest of Omaha we were just mentioning earlier on. That is some good news. So right now, the only severe weather closest to Des Moines is to your north and east, to your west, or your south. So you're pretty much in a bubble right now in the Des Moines area for the time being. But things may be changing here in the next couple of hours. You can see some more storms are starting to develop over here west of Des Moines from Ames back to the Atlantic, Iowa area with the southernmost storm here on that broken line producing some quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That storm will be watching very closely as well as it pushes closer towards the I-80 there in Des Moines as well. That storm is not moving very fast at all, so it has a lot of time to grow a little bit more upscale. And that's the problem with a lot of the storms here this evening is that they're mainly going to be producing a lot of damaging wind, but the problem is the trajectory of the storms as they move from west to east, they might try to drop more southeast. And the question mark is the $1 million question is when does this complex of storms turn southeast? Does it turn southeast in southeast Iowa and northeast Missouri, or does it turn southeast in west central Illinois? So what I mean by that, the warm front is laying out like this across portions of the Illinois Valley and the Midwest, and this storm complex is going to mature and move right along that boundary. And the surface rooted storms will be south of the warm front. That's where the most unstable air is, down across southern Iowa here into portions of northern Missouri, western Illinois. The more stable air is farther up here to the north of I-80 in Iowa and Illinois. So the question mark is, when does it turn southeast? Right now, my gut feeling says that it's going to go more to the east through much of Iowa and then turn southeast, very similar to the storm complex that moved through Illinois just a couple hours ago and still moving through now, there through Galesburg, the Davenport Quad Cities, down toward Peoria, Illinois. That's where that southeast turn will occur as we go through the evening hours. And probably actually by that time, it'd be after midnight. Thank you, Ashley Leith, for joining. Thank you for modding. Much appreciated. Make sure to hit that like button. Absolutely, guys. Thank you for modding, and thank you, all of you guys, for joining me here for live severe weather coverage this evening, keeping everybody safe. More dangerous severe weather on the way even tomorrow into Tuesday, and then we have a dry line set up severe weather threat across the western Great Plains from Nebraska, western Kansas, down into western Oklahoma as we go in towards Thursday. That's 5 days out, 4 to 5 days out, so that could be changing. But already the Storm Prediction Center on Thursday already has a risk out as well. All right, let's see what's happening up here. We got to turn on this radar. So what's happening north of the warm front is we're seeing supercell thunderstorms, or at least multi-cell thunderstorms developing. Just a fancy term for just a lot of chaos going on up here. We got some thunderstorms producing hail. We got some damaging winds between Marshalltown and Waterloo, Iowa. This is in northeastern Iowa here, mainly producing some quarter-size hail north of the warm front into Buchanan County into northeast Iowa. This is until 10:15 p.m. Central Daylight Time, so we're keeping an eye on that, as well as the storm north of Marshalltown as well. This is between Marshalltown and Waterloo, south of Highway 20. This is for big hail, guys. Trained weather spotters are confirming golf ball size hail with this. So if you live near the Marshalltown area up here in Iowa, just north of there, definitely keep an eye on this storm near the Eldora region. So if you live in Eldora, you're definitely seeing some big hail, nice hail core right over the city of Eldora, Iowa here, and that'll be propagating its way off to the east-southeast with time, so we'll continue to watch that. That should stay more to the south of Highway 20 and south of Waterloo, but we'll continue to monitor that. A couple cells moving through Waterloo, Iowa right now. Those are not severe warned, but those will be some that, we'll continue to watch because this environment is ripe for severe weather through the rest of this evening into the overnight hours. And then, of course, we're watching the severe weather in eastern Illinois here, just a clustering of storms. No severe storms down here in towards Springfield, Illinois, Macomb, or Taylorville, but these could be producing some small hail and gusty winds, 40 to 50 miles per hour. Definitely a possibility. Weather for Chillicothe, Ohio. I came in late. Sorry if you covered it here. It's all good. No, I didn't cover it at all. The Chillicothe area right now is very dry. We're not seeing any storms or rainfall right now. There is a storm up north and west of like Dayton, Ohio, right on the Indiana-Ohio border, but those are not severe. And really, I'm not even sure if those are thunderstorms. Those could just be showers without lightning. But the severe weather, I'll keep an eye on for you there into southwestern Ohio here over the next little while I'm live. These storms coming out of eastern Illinois into northwestern Indiana may start to dive farther south and east towards Indianapolis and Cincinnati with time. And if they hold their own, they could be strong, but I do suspect that those will probably lose their luster before they even really get to Indianapolis or Cincinnati. So we'll keep an eye out for those storms. But yeah, I think southwest Ohio, you should be good through the night. Just watch out for an isolated thunderstorm or two. But the main severe weather threat will be up here into southern Iowa, northern Missouri, and western Illinois through tonight. Weather in Kansas around 1 a.m. Sorry, just got here. No, you're good. Absolutely. That's why we're live. You can join whenever. So thank you for joining, Paige. Appreciate it. Just talking about live severe weather coverage here in the Midwest. It was bad here this morning. It sounded and felt like lightning struck outside my house. Oh no, don't want that. The storm had started over. Oh, really? Yeah. Wow. Sounded like you had some big thunder and lightning this morning over there into Ohio. Interesting. Yeah, I woke up this morning to a couple of storms, and then we had some storms move through just a little while ago here in Illinois, but they have since moved off to the southeast. That was that complex of storms we were mentioning over here into just south of Chicago. If you're hearing sirens outside my house, I live on a main road where a lot of ambulances like to drive by. So that I apologize for. As well as if you hear any thunder, lightning, or me drinking water in the background, I apologize. Just trying to stay hydrated while on the stream. Doing a lot of talking, so always good to stay hydrated with some water. Oh, really? How strong were the winds, you think? That was in Chillicothe, Ohio. Yeah, so right now we're looking at northeast. Let's go back down here to northeast Kansas. Let's turn on the Topeka, Kansas radar site here. We got a decent hail core starting to show up just between Marysville and Seneca, Kansas, right on the Kansas-Nebraska border. And these storms are producing some decent hail. We got some $1.25 to $1/2 size hail. Would not at all be surprised to see ping pong ball, golf ball size hail at times out of these storms. Definitely something to keep an eye on here, but definitely seeing some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts for sure. That's the main mode of severe weather with this storm, followed by the $1/2 size hail. This is until 10:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time for the Frankfort, Kansas region, moving east at 45 miles per hour. So if you live in Marysville, Seneca, Blue Rapids, Frankfort, Waterville, Centralia, over there towards the Corning area, also the Summerfield, Vermilion region, definitely be on lookout there for some big hail and some damaging winds right down Highway 36 into northeastern Kansas here this evening through about 10:30 Central Time. I'm not 100%. I didn't go out as strong. Oh, really? So yeah, probably I'd say probably about 50, 60 miles per hour is a good bet with that. If there was a severe thunderstorm warning for you, Ashley, there probably was 60-mile-per-hour winds with those storms. Yeah, it sounds like you had at least 50-mile-per-hour winds. That would probably do it. Avery, thanks for joining. Hello from Fulton, Kentucky. Thank you for joining from Kentucky. Yeah, we're talking about the Midwest here. We have some severe weather in the Midwest and a little bit of the Central Plains here in the Kansas and Nebraska as well. We got a complex of storms moving through. We earlier on did have a more sustained line of storms, but that's kind of fallen apart a little bit. That's some good news. But we definitely still have some stronger storms embedded with this line. We had some warnings up here into southwestern Iowa near the Creston region earlier on. We also had some warnings even closer to Des Moines earlier. Those have been allowed to expire, so that's some good news. The strongest storms are farther south as anticipated into the better instability. We have earlier on today, we had extreme amounts of instability. If you guys watched my video, we showed 3,000 to 4,000 joules per kilogram of energy into the Central Plains and Missouri Valley today. So there was a lot of energy in which these storms could develop in, and they took off very quickly. We had the warm front up here to the north. And we also have that low pressure system. You have enough lift. You got some big storms in an unstable environment. So that's what we saw today. I was going to guess 60 miles an hour, but didn't. No, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, around 60 miles per hour, 50, 60 miles per hour. That's probably a good bet for you. That usually would make your windows rattle for sure. That's what happens with when I get big storms because my room or where I do my the weather forecast and stuff from is on the western side of the house here. So, you know, a lot of the weather comes from west to east most times. So whenever we get some strong winds, I can always feel it on the windows. The windows kind of rattle a little bit whenever you get a big 40, 50, or 60 mile per hour wind gust. There's a dust storm warning in the south, really? Yeah, well, you got some strong winds and a lot of dry weather, especially with that drought ongoing there in the plain states. Doesn't take a lot to get a dust storm. Kept showing thunderstorms today, but nothing came through yesterday nor today, but tonight. Yeah, that happens, and that's what I was mentioning earlier. You're probably joined after I was mentioning that, which is all right. I'll explain it again, but this type of weather pattern that we're in is very tough to predict. Like it has a domino effect on what could happen moving forward. So let me go back for all you guys who have not yet seen the weather models going into tomorrow. So this is the HRRR model. And what this is a short-term weather model to show you what the radar could look like. Obviously, it's not going to look exactly like what this is, but definitely going forward into like tomorrow, you can see going into Monday, these storms are going to have a domino effect on the weather for Monday. So how this complex of storms develops, if we actually truly have a bow echo or like a backward C-shape mesoscale convective system moving through western Illinois, central Missouri, well after midnight, this is 4 o'clock in the morning, then whatever happens tomorrow morning towards the sunrise time frame as they push down towards Springfield, Illinois, St. Louis, and Jefferson City there in Missouri, will have a domino effect on later in the day as we have what we call an outflow boundary that'll set up there toward Jefferson City and St. Louis, and that'll be the initiation point of more storms tomorrow evening, and then those will dive farther to the south across the mid-Mississippi Valley and the Mid-South region, so places like Jonesboro, Arkansas, western Tennessee, Memphis area, Jackson, Tennessee, the Fayetteville region in Arkansas, Little Rock, those areas could get some stronger storms as we go after midnight, Monday night into Tuesday morning. So it has a little bit of a domino effect on what could happen through portions of the Mid-South tomorrow. So that really depends on how the storms evolve tonight. If the mesoscale convective system doesn't get as strong as what this model shows, which right now shows a little bit of doubt because some parts of this line of storms has weakened a little bit. Again, we have a lot of the night to go. It's not 10 o'clock yet Central Time, but if this mesoscale convective system is not as strong and doesn't push as far south, then this could be the initiation point could be, for example, here, I'll draw on the screen real quick. The initiation point could be up in this region versus down here to the south, so it could be a little bit farther to the north. And what this model shows in particular is that initiation point right now being from Jefferson City to St. Louis in the O'Fallon region, but that very well could be a little bit farther north up toward like Springfield, maybe Kirksville, Missouri up here into northeast Missouri, rather than farther south, depending on the severity of the storms tonight. So always a domino effect we'll have to keep an eye on. That this time of year, you never know. Absolutely. So hopefully that helps you out in understanding what we can expect going over the next 12 to 24 hours for you guys that are on the live stream here. Definitely, I am very much so into educating people on why we see weather, what happens with the weather, and again, if no question is a bad question. So if you guys have any good questions or any questions at all that you want to ask, that you think you want to ask, don't hesitate. Definitely ask your questions, and I'll be sure to answer as many questions as possible in detail, so you guys understand what you can expect for your weather forecasts and moving forward as well through the next couple of days, or anything related to the radar analysis that we're doing here live this evening. So right now, going back into northeastern Iowa, we're keeping an eye on a couple storms up here, a couple supercells. We got a little bit of an inflow notch here, but right now, as mentioned earlier on in the stream, that the storms north of the warm front are not really surface rooted. So we have an inflow notch, yes, but the storm is more elevated, and that's why we're only seeing hail with this storm. Trained weather spotters confirming quarter size hail, but we're currently not seeing anything that screams, wind damage or anything like that, because these storms are not rooted at the surface. They're mainly elevated. So these are called elevated supercells. Rain just started, Avery? Yeah, absolutely. Are you in Iowa then? I forgot where you said you were. Iowa? Oh, you're from Kentucky. Okay. I just scrolled up in the chat. You said you were from Fulton, Kentucky. Yeah, so getting over here into Kentucky, there's not too much rain in Kentucky except for in, western Kentucky and southern Kentucky, but that is just general rain. We're not talking severe weather over there. So you're good. So yes, we're still watching this line of storms pushing across southern Iowa here and towards northwest Missouri, southeastern Nebraska, and northeast Kansas here this evening. We're definitely keeping an eye on this as well. You're from Wisconsin, but you live in Fulton? All right, sounds cool. I live in northern Illinois, so my grandma lives in Wisconsin. I go up there ever so often. But yeah, we're keeping an eye on these storms. The strongest part of the storms, like mentioned earlier as well, are across the Missouri and the Iowa border here. That's basically where the strongest of the storms are and will be probably for the next couple of hours. So, yeah, Wisconsin's a nice state. A lot of good trails for riding dirt bikes and four-wheelers, and just going walking on the trails and just enjoying boating on the rivers. I know my grandma lives near the Wisconsin River and where the Mississippi River meets up there, so we go boating sometimes. Pretty cool, especially in the summertime when it's warmer. Nice boating weather. But thank you guys for joining. Consider hitting the subscribe button, guys. We just hit 30,200 subscribers just the other day. I appreciate all the support. I really do. Thank you guys. I couldn't do without you, so thank you. Will Lincoln get more severe weather tonight? There could be a couple stronger storms in Lincoln, Nebraska. There's a couple storms firing off to the west. I can't rule out a severe thunderstorm with these, but the main severe weather threat has passed you to the east as the cold pool aloft, as we call it. It's rain-cooled air is pushing farther into your area. So it's going to be cooling off there in Lincoln, into Omaha, cooling off there as well, as this main system is continuing to propagate farther off to the east. So right now in Lincoln, I say maybe a strong storm you'll have to watch out for, but I think if you want to go to bed in Lincoln, I think you're okay to do so. But just keep an eye to the sky, or at least to the radar, if you're staying up. But I think you're okay in Lincoln. I love the lake up there, close to the zoo. Yeah, definitely. There's a good zoo up there in the Madison, Wisconsin region. It's a good zoo. We got we just recently we had some bigger storms just develop into a squall line there. That'll be moving into Manhattan, Kansas. This is a decent line of storms. This is for northwestern Geary County, Riley County, Potawatomi County, southwestern Nemaha County, southeastern Clay County, and southern Marshall County. This is all in northeastern Kansas. This is until 10:45 p.m. Central Daylight Time. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail is the hazard here. This is for the Manhattan region, Westmoreland, Blaine, Wakefield, Riley, the St. George region, Milford, Leonardsville, also the Oldsburg area. So watch out for that as it propagates farther off toward the east. All right. Yeah, appreciate all the likes on here, guys. Again, thank you so much for all the support. I appreciate it. If you haven't gone to watch my video from today, make sure to go watch my video. My summer forecast will be out either tomorrow morning or on Wednesday. So either tomorrow on May 8th or on Wednesday, May 10th, my summer forecast video will be out. We're going to be highlighting what you can expect from June 2023 to August 2023. So we'll be covering 3 months, June, July, and August, what you can expect with the trends in the weather pattern, how hot the conditions will be, how hot will temperatures get, the precipitation trends. So we'll be going over temperature trends, precipitation trends, severe weather forecast through those 3 months. Also looking ahead to some tropical weather that can be expected as well during the summer forecast, especially near the Gulf Coast. My hurricane season video will actually be out the following Monday on May 15th. So that will be the Monday right after Mother's Day. I will have that video out on May 15th, on Monday, May 15th. So that'll be another good video to watch. So I have a lot of work to do, don't I? I got a lot of longer range videos coming out with the summer forecast. I already had my May forecast come out. Great video. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, definitely go back to my YouTube channel and on the homepage and watch that. Definitely a lot of great content on that May forecast video. And again, as always, thank you, Ashley, for modding. I appreciate it. Any hail tonight for the Kentucky area? No, Kentucky, you're not going to see any hail. And if you do, it'll be from this complex of storms. By the time it gets to like Louisville and down here toward Evansville, it'll probably lose its luster by the time it drops to the south and east. So I'm not too concerned. There could be some hail, but it would probably be smaller hail. So like pea to dime size, maybe nickel size hail. But I'm not expecting anything too significant. No severe hail expected there for the most part. Oh, you mean longer range forecasts, rain waves? Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. If you guys, the reason why I do it obviously is just for if people are planning vacations and stuff like that. It's just good to know the trends in the weather forecast. Obviously, I can't tell you, what's going to happen on Father's Day or July 4th or August 10th or anything like that onto the day. But I can just kind of give you a general weather pattern of what to expect through those months. So you can expect to see, how warm it'll be, the precipitation trends through the month. So we'll do that either tomorrow morning or on Wednesday. Well, there's going to be tornadoes this summer, so you can't go a whole summer without tornadoes. I've never seen it. Unfortunately, just hopefully all the tornadoes that occur are over open fields and not affecting anybody. Estimated time of arrival in Iowa City, Rachel says. Well, we're not really truly seeing any severe storms near Iowa City. But let's stop this right here. This, it's a ways away. So these storms are probably moving. Let's see here. That's 40 miles per hour there. So they're probably not moving much faster to the west. So if we time this out, well, that's probably not good there. Let's try this again. To the Iowa City region, we'll say about 40 miles per hour movement on these storms. That would make it move into the Iowa City region in about 2 hours from now. So this will probably be closer to midnight if you got any storms. So midnight, 1 in the morning, that will be moving through the Iowa City region. So you got a couple of hours yet. And there very well could be a couple of storms that develop ahead of the main line of storms there, but watch out in Iowa City there by the time we get towards midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Could be some rough weather moving through with some damaging winds, large hail, isolated tornado threat, and also especially some torrential rain. This could be producing some isolated flash flooding along the way as it pushes across Iowa. Yeah, you're welcome, Rachel. Absolutely. Great question there. But right now, north of Iowa City and really north of Cedar Rapids, up toward the Waterloo area, Highway 20 up here, into areas into Buchanan County in northeastern Iowa. This is near Independence, Iowa, moving east at 35 miles per hour. We have 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half dollar size hail. So that is the concern with that storm up there near the Waterloo region. So Independence Airport, Independence, Iowa, the Buchanan County Fairgrounds region, Winthrop, and then over there again into the Monty, Iowa region. Watch out for that. We could be seeing some damaging straight line winds around 60 miles per hour and some quarter to half dollar size hail with that storm as well. Nice hail cores. And we'll see the storm back to the west. That one back to the west was producing some decent hail for a time near the Eldora region. Right now, no warning on this right now, but we'll continue to watch that as it pushes off to the east. We definitely could be seeing that as it pushes off to the east. Maybe another warning there just to the south and east of Eldora, Iowa. So we'll continue to track that storm as well. But yeah, if you guys have not yet liked the live stream, we're almost up to 150 likes. So if you guys have not liked it, make sure you press the like button on the way in or out of the live stream and subscribe to the channel. We're almost up to 3,300 or 30,300 subscribers. We're at 30,277. So we only need 23 more people to subscribe and we'll be up to 30,300 subscribers on the channel. So thank you for the help in growing this community. I appreciate it. Our hail was only pea size in Iowa City earlier. Oh, really? Yeah, that storm was it looked pretty decent on the radar. That storm was probably producing some quarter size hail, maybe just east there of Iowa City. There was a time when that storm, I believe, I'll have to go back, but I think it was producing some quarter to even golf ball size hail at times toward the Davenport Quad Cities region. Thank you so much, Ashley. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, we steadily have grown over a year here on YouTube. We're up to over 30,000. So I can't do it without you guys. So I appreciate all of the support. Absolutely. Thank you for your kind words, Ashley. I appreciate it. Oh, well, thank you, Rachel. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly. It's Rachel, right? I just don't want. I don't know if it's like Rochelle or Rachel. I don't want to get your name wrong. So, but thank you for subscribing twice on phone and TV. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's too cloudy to see the northern lights. I saw it a couple weeks ago when it was clearer outside. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, there'll be more opportunities in the future for that. But yeah, unfortunately, tonight is not a good night in the Midwest to see northern lights with these storms moving through. Yeah, so mainly the severe weather is starting to take over here into northeastern Kansas, into the better instability axis. We're starting to see a little bit of a squall line Developing north and west of Manhattan. This is west and northwest of Topeka and Kansas City. We'll see what happens in Topeka and Kansas City downstream here through the evening and overnight. We could be seeing some severe weather erupt there, going farther into the evening hours and after midnight. Rochelle. Okay, I figured that's how it was. I said Rachel before. I apologize. Yeah, Rochelle. Okay, so I was right. Thank you so much for letting me know. So I'll just call you Rochelle. Well, yeah, thank you. I appreciate you subscribing, Rochelle. I appreciate it. I've never seen the Northern Lights. Really? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I saw it for the first time in my life. I'm only 22 years old, but yeah, I saw it for the first time. I think like a week or two ago. It's clear skies, and I figured, well, it's midnight. I might as well just go drive out into the open country, and because you can't really see it in the city because all the city lights. But when you go outside into the country and you could definitely see it illuminating the skies. It's really awesome to see. It really is. Very, very picturesque, that's for sure. I'm almost 28, never have. Hey, you still have a long ways to go yet. So, you know, one day, right? Melissa Smith, thanks for joining the live stream. I don't know if you've been here for a while tonight, but appreciate it. I'm used to a few variations of my name, so no worries. No, it's all good. I just didn't want to, call you something else than your actual name. I wanted to call you your actual name. So it's Rochelle. So I'll just keep calling you Rochelle. I apologize for calling you Rachel. But yeah, we're watching this line of storms here into northeastern Kansas and again northwestern Geary County, Riley County, Potawatomi County, southwestern Nemaha County, southeastern Clay County, and southern Marshall County. Those are the areas to watch out for some 60-mile-per-hour winds, half-dollar size hail there. Manhattan, Westmoreland, Blaine, Wakefield, Riley, St. George, Milford, Leonardville, as well as the Oldsburg area, Randolph, Havensville, Greene, Wheaton, Longford, all those areas. Watch out there into northeast Kansas for some damaging winds and hail. That'll go through 10:45, so you got about 40 more minutes until that severe thunderstorm warning expires. And that could get close to Topeka. The next warning update, if this maintains intensity or gets stronger, this could be extended farther east to include just north of Topeka with the extension of that warning here shortly, getting closer to 10:45. Rain coming down and lightning flashing every second down here. Oh, in Kentucky? Yeah, those are just general thunderstorms. There's no severe warnings down there. So the good news is the silver lining is that we're just seeing general garden variety storms with some nice drenching rains across southwest Iowa. I know some of these areas do need the rain, so it's great we're getting the rain up there south of Des Moines. There's no severe thunderstorms in Iowa besides here just east of Omaha. We got a severe thunderstorm warning for quarter size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts between Omaha and Atlantic, Iowa. And then, of course, the severe storms up near Waterloo, Iowa. Those storms are capable of producing some bigger hail. Got a nice hail course south there of Waterloo, producing some quarter, maybe half-dollar size hail there. So we're continuing to watch out for that as well. This is for southern Blackhawk County and northeastern Tama County here into central Iowa. But I think the storms east of Creston, we're starting to see a little bit of a backward C shape here. I wouldn't be surprised if this does go severe warned again, as we're trying to see a little bit more of a Boeing segment move across I-35 here. Just south of Des Moines. We'll watch this as this does approach the Leon region and eventually Ottumwa and Centerville, Iowa, into southern and southeastern Iowa over the next couple of hours. That'll be very interesting to see what happens with that. And a couple of storm cells or showers starting to develop right over the Ottumwa region. You could have a nice downpour or two there over the next few minutes, but those are not severe. And really, most of the storms in Iowa aren't severe besides the one over here into Omaha region and up toward Waterloo. Those are the only stronger storms that we're seeing here right now. But we definitely will continue to watch these storms, especially in the Kansas. Those are probably the strongest storms right now that we're seeing on radar. Yeah, let's go over here towards Illinois again, south of Chicago. We got a nice arcing band of storms up here for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this near the Paxton, Illinois, and Watseka region, moving east at 40 miles per hour. So if you live in Melvin, Campus, Thawville, Donovan, Loda, or Claytonville, Crescent City, Sibley, or Roberts, Illinois, watch out. This is for I-57 between mile markers 258 and 301. So be watching out for that storm as well. So if you're in Fairbury, Watseka, Gibson City, Paxton, those areas there, just watch out for some stronger damaging winds with 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, the main mode of severe weather with that storm. Is the big in Tennessee just heavy rain? Yeah, just Tennessee. Tennessee is mainly seeing dry weather right now. There's nothing happening as far as okay. There's nothing. Okay, dry weather as far as severe weather. My bad. I didn't realize there's rain down here. I've been focusing on the Midwest, so. But right now we're seeing just some heavy rain down into Tennessee. That's all we're seeing. But no severe weather. So just some rain, some general garden variety storms into Tennessee. But it is dry in Memphis, and for the most part in Jackson, Tennessee right now. Maybe a couple sprinkles moving through Nashville. For the most part, looks to be dry in Nashville as well. So we'll continue to track these as well. Again, that's just classic summer type of pattern here, where you're seeing the heavy rainfall over top of that ridge, and you could get some summertime thunderstorms up here. Well, we've been live for just about 2 hours, I think. Let's go back here to Kansas. We're still watching the squall line here into northeast Kansas as it approaches Manhattan and Junction City. But I think that that will just about do it for most of the live coverage for tonight. Now, with that said, moving forward through the week, we have more severe weather going into your Monday, tomorrow, and also on Tuesday in the Central Plains. And then maybe some severe weather on Wednesday, but more of a lower end severe weather threat. It's more of a transition day. And then Thursday, another severe weather threat likely in the western Great Plains from Nebraska, western Kansas, down into western Oklahoma, maybe the Texas Panhandle. We'll be outlining that in my videos coming up here this week. Other than that, I will be doing a lot of hard work on my summer forecast video. Either that will be out either tomorrow or on Wednesday. So if it's not out tomorrow, just plan on that being on Wednesday. Just due to the fact that there's severe weather going on, I want that to be more of a focus than the summer forecast. But thanks everybody for joining. I appreciate it. Just if you're living in the United States, if you live in the Midwest here, just keep an eye to the sky through the night. Keep multiple ways to receive warnings, whether it's a smartphone, tablet, computer. A NOAA weather radio is probably one of the better tools as well to get notified and woken up off out of a deep sleep from that going off for severe weather. So that is definitely a good way to get reminded of there. So other than that, like the live stream down below if you have not already. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't already. And also, most importantly, press that notification bell, because when I go live next, or if I have a video come out, you get notified for my videos as well. All right. So thank you so much for joining me here this evening. That will likely wrap it up for the live stream here. Since we haven't had tornado warnings for quite some time, and most of the severe thunderstorm warnings are really starting to trend more down in towards Kansas, and a little bit weaker as well than expected. I was expecting more severe warnings into southern Iowa and northwestern Missouri. Not that that can't happen. That could happen again later this evening. We could have another surge of severe storms there south and east of Des Moines toward Ottumwa, the Davenport Quad Cities, Peoria, Illinois, places like that by Monday morning. Well, we keep an eye on it for sure. You're welcome, Melissa. Thank you for joining. Is there still a tornado risk in northeast Kansas for the overnight hours? Absolutely there is, but I think mainly just damaging winds and hail will be the primary mode of severe weather. As you see, it's more linear. So whenever you see more of a line of storms, that is where you're going to see more of damaging winds, and that will probably get pretty close to Topeka and Kansas City after midnight. But that will mainly just be probably for 60 to 70 mile per hour winds and some quarter to $half size hail. I'm not too concerned about a tornado risk, but if you are, just make sure you have notifications up for alerts, like on a NOAA weather radio and stuff like that overnight to get woken up to. Jackson, Tennessee, little lightning. Yeah, we're just seeing some thunderstorms down there, not severe weather. Just some nice drenching rains down into middle and western Tennessee through the rest of tonight. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate everybody joining and supporting the channel as always. I will be live probably later on this week, again, for more severe weather coverage for at least a few hours. So tune in then. Otherwise, watch my videos tomorrow. And again, my summer video will be out either tomorrow or on Wednesday. So be looking for that as well. We'll be going over temperature, precipitation trends, severe weather trends, and possibly looking at an early tropical weather forecast there before my hurricane video comes out next Monday, on Monday, May 15th. So, all right. Other than that, thank you all for joining. I appreciate it. Just stay safe out here if you're in the Midwest or anywhere affected by the stronger thunderstorms here through the rest of tonight into Monday morning, and more severe weather ahead for Monday into Tuesday. Stay safe tomorrow and on Tuesday as well. All right, my video will be out at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. At the top of the screen, daily forecast at 9 a.m. Central Daylight Time. So that is when you can expect my video then. Otherwise, you can also follow me on Twitter at hweather420. You can follow me on Twitter there. I post periodically weather updates on there from time to time to get you updated when I'm not doing videos, like in the afternoon when my videos are already done, being posted. After you're done watching the video, sometimes I have additional updates on Twitter. So you can find that on there by following me on Twitter in the description as well. All right, guys, thank you for joining. Have a great rest of your Sunday night, everybody. Stay safe out there, and I will see you all very soon. Have a good night, everybody.